your comfort level is holding you back. What's up, family? I'm Dr. Dale, and you listen to the Permission to Be Great podcast, the place where our mission is to help you walk in your greatness on a daily basis. Super excited to dive into this topic today. Really excited. I was actually driving home from work today, and this topic came to mind. And I said, I've got to get home and record it. Got to get home to record it. So I'm going to break it down to you here in a second. But before I do, you already know what I got to ask you, my people, my friends, my best friends. Hit that subscribe button. All right. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, right? If you're getting value from these episodes, even if you're not getting values from these episodes, just help me out. Hit that subscribe button, help me grow the YouTube channel. So those of you who are just listening, I'm on YouTube also, so you can watch me talking and watch me dropping this knowledge and giving you guys this free game, right? Hit that subscribe button, help me grow the channel so I can reach as many people as possible and really get this message out just to help make everything better, right? Make the world a better place. All right. So appreciate you doing that for me. All right. Super excited to get into today's topic, right? So what we're talking about today is rejecting comfort. Rejecting comfort, right? I've got to ask you this question. Is comfort your biggest enemy? Is comfort your biggest enemy, right? It's a very important thing. We don't think about it enough, but I'll tell you, I was driving home from work today and I was just thinking, I'm a medical doctor. I went to medical school. I trained at some good places, right? I've got a great job right now. And it's very easy for me to just be like, oh, I'm good. I've made it. I'm solid. I'm comfortable. I don't have to do anything else. I don't need to chase anything else. No more dreams. I am comfortable. I am good. I talk to a lot of people, Joe, like, Dale, you are good. You're so accomplished. You've done this, you've done that, you've done that. And they get me all hyped and psyched up and like almost sometimes try to blow my head up and make me feel like, oh, you good. You have made it. You are good. And it's easy to start falling into that trap, right? Start saying, oh, I am good. I can just chill out now, cruise on for the rest of my life, retire, do whatever, right? I can just chill out. But that can become your biggest enemy. That comfort can become your biggest enemy, right? So super excited to really get into it. I've got my notes here as always, right? I take time to prepare this stuff for you guys. I write my notes. So I would just say, if you're watching this or if you're able to take notes, keep a journal of this stuff. Really, really use it to help grow and build yourself, right? And because this stuff can take you far places, right? And I do encourage journaling. Off topic real quick. I went to my parents' house this past weekend. My wife and I went on the cruise. It was her 40th birthday. So, I was blessed to be able to take her on a cruise with the family for her 40th birthday. And I went to my parents' house and I opened up my top drawer, lampstand table, top drawer. And I found in there a journal that my brother and I used to share. We used to write journals together from way back when I was, I think, 8 years old or something like that. Yeah, I was 8 years old when I started it. And I found these things from, decades ago. And it was so great just reading through it and the memories and getting to see kind of where I was, where I wanted to go, where I'm at now in life. It was like the most amazing thing. So I strongly encourage you all to journal, write down, take notes, whatever. You're going to look back in the future, or somebody in your family is going to look back and they're really, really going to love that. All right, back to the topic. Right. So this idea of getting comfortable. Here's my concern with comfort. Comfort can be a drive killer. You being comfortable can be the thing that kills your drive and doesn't allow you to get to that place that God might have for you, right? Doesn't allow you to get to that place that you really reach that greatness, these dreams, these visions, these things that you really, really wanted as a child, right? Being too comfortable might get you stagnant and have you not go chase those places. I mentioned that this came to me as I was driving home and, thinking about this idea of being a doctor and feeling comfortable. Years back, my brother and I started a tech company, and we're working, we worked hard on this, right? So during the day, I'm at work doing my clinical stuff, and at nighttime, like late night, doing this tech stuff, right? We had somebody coding for us full time, and I was the project manager overnight and all sorts of crazy stuff, right? It was like little sleep, just grinding all the time. But then there was this company that we wanted to apply to get funding. The company's called Y Combinator. Anybody who's in tech will know Y Combinator. They're one of the biggest companies out there that can infuse money into your company, right? So they'll invest in your company, and then they'll also put you through an accelerated program where they teach you a lot of stuff about how to be a great startup. And we applied for the company. I'm thinking, oh, we're about to get it. We're going to nail it, right? We're on it. And, there are a few things about our application that weren't the best because it was somewhat out of our control for some of those things. But the one thing that kept on bothering me, and the folks at Y Combinator kept on saying that they didn't really care for, or not didn't care for, but, they were very cautious about, was having people who were already established in your careers, right? So people like me, I was a doctor. My other brother's a doctor. My oldest brother has a PhD, right? So having people like us who have, quote unquote, done well, and who might be comfortable. They said they wanted people who were not comfortable, people who were hungry, people who they knew were going to do whatever they could to make sure their company would be successful. Because if they're going to invest money in your company, they want to get their money back on multiples. So they wanted people who weren't in a position where they could walk off and say, oh, I make enough money, I don't need this to work, right? Because they understand that comfort can be a drive killer. And that's true across the board, not just for Y Combinator, but across the boards. A huge example while we're in tech, a huge example of how comfort can be a drive killer is Blockbuster. So those of you who are my age, you guys remember Blockbuster videos, right? Brick and mortar store, you walk in Friday night, you're so excited to go to Blockbuster and pull your video that you want to rent off the shelves, or pull your video games that you want to rent off the shelves, right? You're so excited for that, right? And that was Blockbuster. Blockbuster was all across the country. They were just absolutely killing it, but they got comfortable. And here comes this company called Netflix. Says, you know what? Instead of having the brick and mortar, like what Blockbuster's doing, we're going to try something completely different, completely new. We're going to put pressure on ourselves, and we're going to mail out DVD discs to people so they can watch it, right? And then with time, those DVDs turn into just everything digital streaming, which is what a lot of us have nowadays, right? But Blockbuster got comfortable. And that being so comfortable, just pulling in all their money, saying, we're the big dogs on the block. They can't knock us up. Getting so comfortable is the thing that led to them being knocked off, because they saw Netflix coming. Blockbuster saw Netflix coming. They could have done something about it. They could have pivoted. They could have tried a different model. They saw Netflix coming, but they were too comfortable with what they had. And they didn't do what they needed to do to stay on top. When's the last time you saw a Blockbuster video? Out of business, right? Comfort can be the thing that brings you down. Don't get too comfortable. All right. So let me transition real fast. I want to talk about the comfort zone versus growth zone, right? So being too comfortable is a dangerous thing, a very dangerous thing, okay? And where you want to be is you want to be getting into that growth zone. So two zones you can be. You can be in the comfort zone, or you can be in the growth zone. The comfort zone or the growth zone. I'm going to ask you 3 things here about characteristics about each one of these. I want you to ask yourself, which zone am I in right now? Which zone am I in right now? All right. The first difference between these two things is the comfort zone, no pressure or very little pressure. So pressure, I mean stress, no stress, right? Go about your daily lives. There's no external force, no pressures. You're not worried about things, right? You're constantly on chill mode, right? The growth zone, you've got some pressure. You're sweating. You've got some stress in your life, right? You're going through some stuff that says, man, if this doesn't work out, then what, right? That pressure, that's growth. You need that. Pressure is a good thing. Think about a chunk of coal, lump of coal, right? Pressure produces diamonds. Pressure produces diamonds. You need pressure, right? How do trees get so steady and so strong, right? It's resisting the wind's pressures. It's helping build those trees up to be firm and steady. That comes from pressure. When you want to get big and strong yourself, you go to the gym, you lifting weights. How do your muscles, how do your pecs get all big and strong, right? It's the pressure you're pushing against. Pressure leads to growth. Pressure leads to growth. That's number 1. Number 2, the comfort zone, you're not taking risk. You're not taking risk, right? Life is easy. You're thinking, I don't need to do that. Too risky, too risky, too risky, too risky. The growth zone, in order for me to get to where I want to get to, I've got to take some risk, right? Got to take some risk, right? If I want to be excellent, if I want to be phenomenal, if I want to be great, I've got to take some risk. Game's on the line. My name is Michael Jordan. If I'm playing against the Utah Jazz, they pass me the ball. I've got a guy named Byron Russell on me. A few seconds left. I can give this ball up. Everybody's watching. Everybody knows I'm Michael Jordan. They expect me to take the shot. Or I can go take the shot with this pressure on me. What are you going to do? Dribble, come across the lane, get towards that elbow on the left side, rise up above everybody, hang in the air for a second. Pow. That's what we know it's a shot. Coming through under pressure, the growth, right? The risk he took. He didn't have to take that shot. It was a risk, right? And number 3 is when you're in a comfort zone, you have limited learning. You feel like as though you're not learning. You're just kind of stagnant in your learning. Whereas in the growth zone, because of that pressure, because of these risks you're taking, you have to learn. You're constantly learning. You're thriving on learning. So I'm going to ask you this. Are you in the comfort zone or are you in the growth zone? Are you in the comfort zone or are you in the growth zone? If you're in the comfort zone, you need to hear this. I want you to hear everything that we're talking about today, because I want to get you to move over to that growth zone so you can go achieve great things in your life. And you got permission to be great, right? Achieve those great things and get to where you're trying to get to in your life. Now, in thinking about this, something I did want to be very cautious, right? Because the Bible is clear. The Bible is clear about the idea of contentment. And contentment is a good thing. I want to emphasize that contentment is a good thing, right? Paul talks about he's learned to be content, right? Contentment is a good thing. So I always struggle with myself, and it took some research for me to gain clarity around this. Contentment versus comfort, right? Being content versus being comfortable, two different things. Contentment, as I see it, contentment deals more with your internal pressures on yourself, your internal view of how yourself are, the ease at which you have internally, that you're being satisfied with what you have. It's an internal thing, right? No matter what situation you put me in, I'm satisfied. This is what Paul talks about in the Bible. I'm satisfied because internally I'm content, right? No matter what situation you put me in, I have satisfaction. Comfort, on the other hand, in a sense, can deal with the external forces, external pressures, right? Comfort is more free from external pressures, free from external pains, right? Free from any sort of harm, right? Free from any sort of discomfort, anything that's making you uncomfortable. Contentment deals more with kind of what I have. I have enough, right? Comfort deals more with what's coming at me, with what I'm feeling, right? The pains, the pressures, those things. Contentment is great. Remaining in a state of comfort forever and not trying to grow is not where you want to be. It's not where you want to be. You want to constantly be growing. You want to constantly be growing. All right. Now, last thing I really want to dive into is moving from that state of comfort to the growth zone. So moving from the comfort zone to the growth zone, comfort zone to the growth zone. Kyrie Irving, I believe Kyrie Irving is one of the most skilled players to ever touch a basketball. Right? You might say he's not the best. You might have issues with him politically, whatever. I don't know. Right? I don't get into that stuff. But as it pertains to this round orange thing called the basketball, I believe Kyrie Irving is one of the most skilled players to touch that thing. Okay. Kyrie Irving's got a championship. He's an NBA champion. Right? Phenomenal NBA champion. Right? He could have stopped that. He could have been like, comfortable, don't need to put myself through anything that's going to make me uncomfortable. I'm good. I got a championship. I'm not doing it anymore. But I remember watching a game when him and KD were on the Nets. I think Kyrie went off for like 50 or something, right? I remember what Kyrie said in the post-game interview. They asked him a question like, man, how are you doing stuff? And Kyrie said something to the effect of, hey, for us, it's not just a game, right? I studied this thing. I'm trying to be a basketball savant. That's what he said. He used the word savant, a basketball savant. So Kyrie Irving, who's a millionaire, Kyrie Irving, who already has an NBA championship, this young man says, I want to be a basketball savant, which means he wants to keep growing and growing and growing. You notice he didn't say anything about I want more money. He didn't say anything even about I want more championships. He said, I want to be a savant. He said, so essentially, he wants to be the most expert person to ever touch a basketball. That's crazy. And that's a self-inflicted pressure. He's putting that pressure on himself, right? That's the growth zone. He could chill. He could stay in the comfort zone and say, I'm good. I don't have to work a day in my life. My grandkids are good. But Kyrie says, I want to be a basketball savant. I'm going to put that pressure on myself so I can get to be the best that I could be. That's Kobe stuff. It's the Mamba mentality. Anybody who pursues greatness in anything, that's the mindset that people are coming at this with, right? We're trying to be savants in what we do. That's the growth mindset. So really two main steps you got to take to go from the comfort zone to the growth zone. 2 steps to go from the comfort zone to the growth zone, right? And there's a lot more that goes into this, right? I'm just giving you 2 very big, broad, general steps, 2 things you could do right now to kind of get going on this journey, right? Because my goal for you guys is action, action, action. Okay, but after you get going, there's a lot more stuff that comes in there to support you, to hold you up. Okay, but step number 1 is ask yourself, what do I want my legacy to be? What do I want my legacy to be? I don't think this is a question many people ask themselves. So many people are always so focused with what do I want my goals to be. And goals are important, right? But you're so focused on what do I want my goals to be, or who do I want to be? That's important. These things are very important. However, when you ask yourself, what do I want my legacy to be? That's a whole different type of question you're asking yourself. That's what do I want my grandkids to think when they see me? I was driving home today. I was talking to my son, and I said, you know what? all these videos that I'm making, I'm so happy I'm making them. I don't care if they get 0 likes. I'm so happy that I'm making these videos because as long as the internet's around and these video platforms remain, my grandkids are gonna know what their granddaddy talked about. They're gonna know how I thought that we should live our lives, right? That's the legacy. That's the legacy I want, right? I want to live a legacy where it's focused on showing people how to live the best lives that they can live and maximize the time that they have here, right? That's legacy that I want. So, right, you have to ask yourself, what legacy do you want? Some people might say, I want my legacy to be the best musician ever. I want to be the best doctor ever. I want to be the best this ever, this, that. I said, what legacy do you want? And once you gain clarity around the legacy question, that dictates how you should live your life. That really does dictate how you should live your life. So a lot of times I think, okay, what are my great grandkids going to be thinking when they see this video? Right. That's important to me. That dictates how I make these videos. Right. So that's step number one. Step number two is you then have to apply pressure to yourself to move you towards achieving that legacy. You have to apply some sort of pressure. You can't just say, I want to do this. All right. I want this to be my legacy. And then, oh, that's it. I'm good. You said it, but it means nothing. You said it, but it means nothing. Right. You have to apply some sort of pressure. You can't just set it as a goal because you're not going to be driven to do it. Right. You know, a lot of people talk about know your why. And I talk about that too. Knowing your why is not enough. That's important, but it's not enough. Right. You need that pressure to push you towards it. We talked about the diamonds, the pressure that makes diamonds. You need that. Right. You need to turn yourself from a lump of coal to a diamond using that pressure. Okay. There's a whole lot more things that come under here, but establish your legacy, what you want it to be, know it for yourself, write it down, get a journal, write it down, and then find a way to apply pressure to yourself, right? So for me, I told you what I want my legacy to be. So what's the pressure for me, right? What's the pressure for me? The pressure for me is people know that I'm making this podcast. That's pressure, right? You guys know I've told it, I've broadcasted it, I've announced it. That's pressure. If I don't come through on this podcast, people are going to look at me like he didn't do what he said he was going to do. That's pressure, right? I was listening to Patrick David, I believe is his name, right? The guy that does value tape. I was listening to him, and he had something great. He was talking about his kids fighting, and he puts them in some sort of martial arts training, and they were fighting each other. And then and one of them had mentioned something to the effect of he wants to be, he's going to be, not wants to be, he is going to be the greatest fighter ever, right? And then he got into this little deal where he got emotional, ended up saying, I never said I was going to be, I said I want to be. Right. He's like, I never said I was going to be. I didn't say that. I said I want to be the greatest fighter in the world. And then what Patrick but David did that was so great is he explained, he talked about how his kid actually brought this to light, but he explained the fact that when you say you're going to be something and you declare it, that's a real commitment. That's putting it out there so everybody knows it's a declaration. I am going to do this. Right. If you say you're going to do something, you have to work towards it. You kind of have to do it, or else you look like you didn't make it happen. Whereas if you say you want to do something, that's the easy way out. If you say you want to do it, doesn't mean you have to do it, right? Oh, I want to do it, right? Oh, I want $1 billion. Oh, I want a new Ferrari. Oh, I want to graduate top of my class. Oh, I want courtside tickets, right? Oh, I want to play professional football, right? Wants are just dreams that people just have that don't mean that much, right? But when you change that want to will, change the want to will, that's a different level of commitment. That's you chasing something. That's you chasing legacy. So that's going to be my challenge to you guys. I want you to change your want to will. All right. Determine your legacy. Apply pressure to yourself somehow around that legacy to push you towards that legacy. This is getting into the growth zone now. Okay. And change your wants to wills. All right, man, guys. I hope you guys are getting this, man. This is some good stuff, some very important stuff, right? Being comfortable is sometimes such an enemy to greatness, achieving greatness, right? And I don't want any of you guys to get in that situation where you're just like, oh, I'm comfortable, I'm good, I've made it, I don't need to do anything else. You know, I once heard somebody talking about this idea of retirement. Like, why do people retire? In the Bible, I don't really think you see people retiring too much. There's nothing wrong with retiring. Retiring is, I think, is perfectly fine. I plan on retiring one day. However, when I retire, I'm always going to do something. Probably, I think. Right? I'm not there yet, but it's my intention. It's my intent to keep on doing something after I retire. Right? Retirement is comfort. It's okay to retire from like your job you've done all these years. That's perfectly fine. But find a way to continue to grow in your state of retirement. Find a way to apply pressure to yourself so you can continue to grow. One of the most beautiful things, as I see it, one of the greatest joys that I have when I wake up every day is knowing that I can try to get better today than I was yesterday. It's one of the greatest joys I have is knowing that God created us in a way that I'm able to work on myself to get better today than I was yesterday. How awesome is that? I'm not sure any other animals are waking up saying, I'm going to be better today than I was yesterday, right? But you better believe I'm waking up and I got a book that I'm reading, right? I'm listening to books, podcasts, all sorts of stuff. I am doing my best to be better today than I was yesterday. It's the growth mindset. And that growth mindset is going to help me achieve my legacy of passing this stuff down for generations and generations to help people live better lives. Because that's what I care about. Right. My primary focus, all my primary focus of, everything's God first. And around that is to help people live better lives, to help you guys be more efficient with your lives, to help you be more excellent in what you do on your day-to-day lives. My message to you for that excellency today is don't get caught up being comfortable. Get in that growth zone. Super important for where you want to go. All right, guys, man. Hey, I'm so glad that you guys, tune in and watch these videos and are rocking with me. I've been getting a lot of great feedback. People putting comments and getting private messages. So I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for sending those messages. It lets me know that that you guys are on this path. Not even about me, but lets me know that people are out there on this path to achieve greatness, to get there. That's important, right? Because the more people we have pursuing that greatness, I believe the better the world will be, the better the world, our children's, all those people, the better opportunities you're going to have. And, that's what I'm about, right? So, the favor I got to ask you again is please hit that subscribe button, right? I want to grow this channel. The more subscriptions we have on the channel, the more people get to see the video, the more people get to see the videos, the more greatness we're achieving, right? The more greatness we're achieving, the better it's going to be for everybody. So I appreciate you guys listening. Appreciate you guys sharing this with your friends. Hit that subscribe button. You have permission to be great. Thanks for listening. Love you guys.